Hey. Hey guys, how you doing? Hope everything is well. Cheers. A little late tonight with the stream, but couldn't be helped. So what's going on with you guys? What's going on with you guys? I promised a stream. I had a few people who said they had some questions they want to ask. I figured I'd get on, answer your questions. So, just want to make, what's the announcement for tonight? Well, I'm going to do that series for 2024 on Should You Learn XYZ Language. I mentioned that on Twitter. So you should see a bunch of those those videos rolling out soon. So what do we got here? So funny, I thought I was watching a replay and then I realized it's live. YouTube didn't notify me and I got the email. Huh. You got the email, huh? Very cool. Good, good. So how you guys doing? Hope everything is well. Thanks for coming to the stream. So as you can see, I'm starting to do these on a regular basis. Once again. Can you hear me clearly? Ruby. Can you hear me clearly? Let me know if you can hear me clearly. And I think so. Doing okay. I have a doctor's appointment now, so I might have to leave the stream early. Okay. Have you looked into the low-carb keto diet for your situation, Christy? It worked for my friend. Everything was wiped out, a clean bill of health. How you doing? Is that Matthew? Is that Matthew? I don't know if Matthew's on the stream. I don't think he's on the stream anymore. We'll see. Sounds good. All right, everything's cool. Good, good. So I'm using this mic here. I'm at my place in Delray Beach, Florida here. So I didn't bring my professional gear. So we're okay. We're good. We're good. So yeah, since the New Year's around the corner, I'm going to be getting into the Should You Learn series. I started doing these, I don't know, 2016. They're pretty popular. My most popular video has well over 1 million views. It was Should You Learn C++ in 2000, I think it was 2016. So I'm going to be doing a series on all the different languages. So what I'm going to be doing is looking at the different languages, looking at the market share, giving you my nerd assessment in terms of viability of the language, what's going on today, and so you can have an insight on what I think about things. Yeah, I'll give you a little tip on that. You know, unless something radical happens, which doesn't happen too often. That's why when it happens, it's radical. Things are pretty static. You know, in terms of the languages nowadays. The theme for 2024 in terms of development and coding is low code and no code platforms, and to look at AI and how it can help you with your development process. Whether you're doing full stack, front end, basic web design, they all play a role in all these things. Aberzen says, sir, how to use AI in learning web dev or other technologies? Very good. What I would do, let's say you were learning web dev. You start with a good, solid basic course, whether it be mine or something else, whatever it is. And once you start getting the fundamentals, you're starting to understand a little bit. Then if you run into questions, just run over to, for example, Chat GPT or Twitter's new Grok AI or whatever ones you want to use. Bard, I think is another one. There's a few coming out. But you just go there and you just start asking it questions. Now you have to know the basics before you do that, because the AIs are not perfect, but they will help quite a bit. It's one of those tools where if you know a little bit, that can get the ball rolling for the AI, and away you go. Yeah, so that's a good question. That's how you use AI for learning. All right, what's going on? All right, 25, still a small group. Appreciate the likes. Oh, by the way, let me show you this. So I do have the Discord, so I just want to show you that. So we got the Discord channel. We got lots of people in here. I haven't been promoting it lately because, you know, I haven't been doing lives. But anyway, you should check out the link below. There's a live Discord. So these are all the people who joined December 20th, and on the 19th. And so yeah, it's a good place to talk, continue conversation after the stream is over. And yeah, so check out that Discord below for sure. For sure. So I did a poll on YouTube, and I asked whether or not you guys wanted the game plan for developer early retirement, something I use for myself, and I've helped other people use it. It's pretty successful. So, you know, the key to the whole thing is you have to have valuable skills. Most people, when they get into development, if they're making this, when they get into development, they usually bump up their salary like this. So the average salary somebody makes, usually the developer will make double to triple the average salary. Now, if you're a doctor or a lawyer or something, you won't see that, of course. But if you have the average salary compensation by getting into code and development, it may take you a few 2 years to get to full speed in that regard. But once you do, well, 2-3 years. Once you do, though, you're going to be making double, triple the average salary. And so let's say, for the sake of argument, we use round numbers to make things easy. So let's say in your part of the world, the average salary is $10,000 a year. I'm just using a round number here. While the average developer in that part of the world would probably be $20,000 to $30,000 a year. So if it was like, it's a Montreal, the average salary is like $38,000, $40,000 a year. So the average developer in Montreal may make double, triple that for sure. So one of the tricks to financial independence, freedom, is when you start making all that extra money, to not be a fool and spend all that extra money on on buying brand new cars and expensive furniture and going partying. What you do is you keep the same lifestyle, and then you start investing and saving like crazy. Anyway, I'm going to release a whole series on that whole subject in January, I believe. Yeah. So we have a small group tonight. I guess the holidays are pending. So do you guys have any questions? You let me know. Whether it be about, well, anything really. I'll just do what I can. I'll do what I can in that regard. Yeah. So people, I got some questions. I did a live today on Instagram. Somebody asked me about books I would recommend. So for programming and development, link is below. I'd recommend the books. Once you got through the fundamentals, get a book on refactoring. Refactoring is how to clean up code, how to write clean code. There's links to 2 books, the Java version, the JavaScript version. They're universal across the languages, but that's something to get if you want to know what book to get in terms of programming. If you're a total beginner to code, I got my book on web design. There's a link below. It is, I wrote it several years ago, but it's still very relevant to today. It's evergreen. And this is for total beginners. It's for total beginners. So if you're interested in a book in that regard. Yeah. There we go. Here's some questions. DVD or DV Dragon. Is Google Lighthouse a good tool for measuring website speed performance? I haven't looked at Lighthouse, excuse me. But if Google recommends it, if it's their tool, I'm sure it's a good tool. If you don't know, website speed will impact your SEO, your how favorable Google will treat your site. So if Google put out a site speed tester, then you can be sure that it's pretty good. It's acceptable. Yeah. What is a SDK? Because I'm using Microsoft Graph API. Any idea? What is SDK? Because, well, an SDK is software development kit. It's a set of tools, software tools that the vendor will provide to allow you to use their software, to integrate with it. I haven't used SDKs in ages. What is your favorite thing to eat for lunch? Oof. That really depends, It really depends. I'm a brunch guy, so I usually get steak and eggs. That's my thing. Although I'm down here in Florida, the food down here in Florida is the stone crabs. I really like stone crabs. That's always cool for me. Yosef, if I came with a solid JavaScript foundation, I made an intermediate project with React about e-commerce web application. I want to choose best backend framework for me. What is best framework? If you're comfortable with JavaScript, you may want to look at Express. That's built on top of Node. So Express. My preference is PHP Laravel, but Express would be good. Django is cool. The easiest to deploy with, of course, is PHP Laravel. Node is very popular with Express, and Python Django, Python Flask. But in terms of market share, you're looking at Express, you're looking at PHP Laravel, and then Django. Those would be my suggestions. Express or Next.js? I have not compared Express versus Next.js, so I don't have an answer there. What you do when you're evaluating technologies, look at the market share, so you make sure you're not using a technology that may get abandoned at some time. Also look at the activity in the community. Well, how is the Express community? Is it vibrant? Is it friendly? Are you going to get answers? How versus the next community? Same questions. And you make your choice based on that. You want a community that's open, vibrant. You want something that's busy so that you have something to lean on. Have you ever visited London? Yes, I have been to London. I spent about 2 weeks there. It's been years though. Good city, I like it. Went to visit did the usual stuff. Went to the Thames, the obelisk of Cleopatra. I went to the KFC beside the Thames. What else? Buckingham Palace, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've been there. It's a good city, good city. I'm a Java Spring Boot life. Ah, cool. Yeah, if you're going to be doing Java, you're probably going to be working with Spring Boot. I'm learning Java, well, if you're doing full stack web. I'm learning JavaScript for front-end web development. Is OOP needed or functional programming? I generally lean towards OOP, but that said, I haven't really looked much at functional programming. You can get the elegance or achieve the perceived elegance of functional programming if you learn how to write clean OO code. The problem with OOP is that people won't write it well. It can get overly brittle and complex with things like using inheritance and so on. You can write nice, simple, object-oriented code that's not brittle, but still gives you the advantages that OO provides. I lean OOP because it's just, I think it's much more popular. Good question. Yeah. Delivered is OOP, like, but mostly functional. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't looked at the stats. That's a good thing. I'd be curious to see what percentage of apps are being developed OOP style versus functional style. Yeah, by the way, welcome to the stream. My name is Steph. If you're new here, code long and profit. Give me the thumbs if you like the stream. Give me 2 thumbs down if you hate my stream. I appreciate that. Coming from Cold Fusion. Wow, since 95. Okay. No, Cold Fusion, you know, I'm not sure when it happened, but at some point, Cold Fusion became a Java. It was just a Java implementation, right? There's Java behind the scenes. So yeah, Cold Fusion since 95, React and Next.js with Vercel is on another level. Yeah, I haven't looked at those, I can say. Yeah, good old Cold Fusion. What was the company that did that? Anyway, should my focus be on front end or back end, or even if I pursue full stack development? Depends where your strength lies, you know. I think your focus, once you learn your basics, is to just build things. And you learn what you need to learn as the projects demand. That's the concept I keep trying to get forward to people, is when you're getting into this game, you want to get in the mindset of, once you get past your basics, past your fundamentals, you want to get into the mindset of actually building things. You want to build things, you want to build things, you want to build things. That's how you really learn. Real songs. What would the best platforms, websites you recommend for advertising freelance development services? Oh, that I don't have no recommendation. First recommendation the first recommendation would to be get a really nice website up where you make sure it looks really good, where you profile your skills. Write a couple of articles targeting the part of the world where you want to serve clients. So if you wanted to serve clients in Miami Beach, Florida, you would say Miami Beach, Florida web developer. You would write an article about this. Miami Beach developer produces new site for a coffee shop, you know, so that you can start getting some search engine juice. So yeah, so once you get that website up, that looks really good, then get some Google My Business going, Google My Business going. And so you got a profile there, and start do 2 to 3 small little projects for local nonprofit, little company for free, and get them to review your work. Get on the Google My Business bandwagon, because Google will favor you. Yeah, that's what I would do. Hello, watching stream from Wyoming. Hey, man. Welcome to the stream. Joseph is back again. I'm building an intermediate e-commerce with React. Okay. I'm building an intermediate e-commerce with React.js with Laravel, and I'm currently learning a valuable staff. My question, I guess he's learning valuable stuff. My question is, how can I make a personal brand to get my freelance task? Okay, I think I told you what to do. Get that website up. Also, join the Discord channels with other developers. That might be a good way for you to network and make, you might find jobs that way. Get your presence on social media, Facebook, Twitter. I hope you're well. Is getting better with a higher dose of vitamin D from the sunshine in Florida. Yeah, that could help, I think. I wonder if you know free hosting servers I can leverage. Do I know any free hosting services you can leverage in 2024? No, but you should go around, look around. I don't know any off the top of my head. You can host your stuff on GitHub, I think. Sir, is it possible to get a job with just projects, or do I have to study for interview DSA? Depends on the place you want to go work for. But most importantly, just do a few projects, not projects just at school. Like, as I said, you go watch all my older videos on how to get your first job in web development. The key is you just got to get your hands dirty with some real projects. Do one or two little ones for free, so you got some real world experience. That makes all the difference. I appreciate the thumbs, guys. If you can hit the thumbs, that'd be cool. You know how it is with the algorithms, you know. Thanks for the tips. Do you recommend taking on small freelance work while working full-time to build experience? Yeah, I guess you mean you're working full-time in a non-coding area, I suppose. Yeah, for sure. The key to getting your first job is to do a couple of free little jobs for real companies. You want to get out of tutorials as quickly as possible. Tutorials are training wheels. They're there to help you get started, but you don't want to be continuously doing tutorial. You just really learn the game when you actually do the thing. How much front-end JavaScript would you need to know if you're thinking do freelance? Not too much. If you want to freelance, it's much more about the back end and full stack. Front end, as long as you know how to lay out responsive sites, you know. Maybe do some simple animations with CSS. Then I would concentrate on the full stack and the back end, because you're going to get a lot of e-commerce work to do. You're going to get a lot of PHP. You're going to get a lot of WordPress. So that's what I would suggest. Is it mainly DOM manipulation? Yeah, a little bit of DOM manipulation, but when you're doing, again, when you're doing freelance, it's much more broad. You're gonna make much more money. You get a lot more jobs if you're doing full stack. So it would be full stack with an emphasis on back end, with a little bit of front end. Yeah, you did, Ramadan. How are you, man? Hope all is well with you. Sir, how will I know how much to learn and when to stop? Well, I'll talk about the web stack. When you feel comfortable building a basic responsive website, you understand HTML and CSS fairly well. You understand the basic of DOM manipulation with the basics of DOM manipulation with JavaScript. When you understand, you know, how to use, maybe learn one front-end framework like a Bootstrap, you know, yeah, when you got that going, you can start doing simple jobs. Then if you go out there, you're probably going to find some WordPress stuff, learn the very basics of WordPress, learn the very basics of PHP, so you can do some, a little bit of full stack. You got to remember, when you're first starting out, there's certain things you're going to learn and study and develop. And then as you develop your career, you may go in a totally different direction. So I have people in my mentoring program. They start off with the HTML5, the CSS3, the JavaScript, the PHP, the Python, the SQL. They do basic CRUD operations, basic full stack. And then everybody goes in different directions. Some people are doing Java. I got some people on Java Spring Boot. I got people doing Python Django. I've had people doing PHP Laravel, people doing PHP Drupal. So it really depends where the jobs are. You have to learn that the job, even though people are hired to do a certain thing, which you're going to discover as you become more advanced as a developer, it's less about the language, it's less about the framework, it's more about your skills, you know. Do you teach your students how to create shopping carts? I do have a shopping cart tutorial in there. It's an older one that helps out. But again, once you understand the basics, you could find any shopping cart tutorial and you'll be able to follow along and implement it. It's not much of an issue. Hello, hello. How are you, Mustafa? How are you, Trey Brown? Steph, how do you stay patient when you are developing a project with all the frustrations that come around? One of my biggest issues is planning my project and sticking to the plan. Well, what you want to do when you're starting out a new project, especially when you're beginners, you want to have a very lightweight plan. You don't be super strict, because things, as you're working through the code and building things out, you're going to run into difficulties and you're going to have to adjust and pivot. It's like boxing, you may have a plan, but if somebody punches you here and you're expecting him to punch there, you're going to have to do something different. Same thing with code. So I would have a very light plan, and then I would prioritize the things you want to build, you need to build, and then you just adjust accordingly. And the key is as long as every day, or whatever your schedule is, every other day, you move the ball forward a little bit more. You move the ball forward. Don't be afraid to change the structure of your plan based on what you discover, what happens in the project. That's how you do it. But just try to do a little every day. Okay. Can we make a switch from web to DevOps, or is it depending on the company I work for? Depends on the company. If you're a web developer and you want to do DevOps, start learning more DevOps, start getting better at DevOps, and see if you can get your hands into DevOps at your place of work. That's what I would suggest. Hey, Louis, how are you? Hey, Uncle Steph, how do you use the job market for Angular? How do you see the job market for Angular? I haven't looked it up. Just go to the job sites, type in Angular job for wherever you happen to be in the world. See what comes up. I tried learning React. Hold on. I tried learning React, but it felt too tedious for me. I'd like to focus on Angular instead. What would you recommend? Well, I would recommend to do a job search for Angular wherever you happen to be or where you want to work. See what the demand is like. Go to Indeed.com, Angular developer. Let's see. Hold on. Can we pull that out? I'm checking something here. Give me a second. Is it here? All right. No, it's not here. I'm trying to pull up something. Give me a second. There we go. I don't know what's Angular job, Miami, Florida. Let's see what happens. Upwork, jobs, Indeed. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Hold on. So, yeah, that would be good. Give me a second. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. All right, let's check out some Angular jobs. All right, so what do we got here? We got, just getting this view. So Angular jobs, Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida. So we got, so we have, usually tells us, so 41 jobs where Angular popped up something. So .NET developer, 130,000, 150,000 a year. But develop and maintain C# applications in production environment. Knowledge of Kubernetes, customized in YAML. Okay, there's no Angular there. I guess they want Angular as an aspect of that. Let's see what we got here. I ordered a couple of monitors because I'm using my laptop now, so it makes it a little bit difficult. So this guy, UX UI developer in Miami, Florida, from 112 to 160,000 a year. We are seeking an experienced UX UI developer with expertise in Figma to join our dynamic and developing web development team. In this role, you will be instrumental in translating our design concepts into functional and visually appealing digital interfaces. Your deep understanding of user interface design and front-end development, coupled with proficiency in Figma, will drive the creation of engaging user experiences for our web and mobile platforms. So the key here is to understand the concepts of UI and UX and you happen to be using Figma. If you understand your UI and UX very well, then using Figma will be fairly easy. What do we got here? So you got to know your HTML, CSS, your JavaScript, other front end to create and maintain Figma libraries, design systems for consistency and efficiency in design implementation. Convert Figma designs into reusable code snippets and UI components that can be integrated into our web applications. So I don't see no Angular. It's weird that came up. Let's see what we got here. JavaScript developer. Pay not provided. All right, they don't want to. Perfect candidate for this job, an experienced computer programmer familiar with both front end and back end development. Perfect candidate for this job is an experienced computer programmer familiar with both back and front end. See, you must have experience with Angular 2 and 4 version preferred. Must have experience with front end technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap. Good working knowledge, good working experience with Angular, JS, JavaScript, jQuery, and MySQL. jQuery, man, it's still around. Here's a job. .NET full stack with Angular, AWS, 100% remote. Okay, it's a contract, but they're not giving you the rate. But you know, if Florida seems to be, you know, 112 to 160, so if you're senior, 160, 130, 150. So if you're on a contract, it would be at least 150, maybe 200 or more, depending. Contract, Angular developer, contract. So anyway, you get the idea. We got Fort Lauderdale. No, it's cheaper. Up to 90. What do they got here? Fort Lauderdale. I guess it's a lot cheaper to live there than Miami. They're a financial services team, so Florida led by an innovative executive team with decades of industry experience, blah, blah, blah. But our company goes to use our knowledge. Okay, how about the job requirements? Here we go. Here we go. Proficient in PHP. Extensive experience in developing and maintaining dynamic websites and applications using PHP. Wait a second. Hold on. Hold your horses here. Hold your horses. Hold on. I thought there was no PHP jobs. I don't get it. We weren't even searching for PHP jobs. Anyway, all right. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Do you find this? You want me to go through some more jobs, or you had enough of the jobs? Let me know in the comments. Do you want me to read off some more jobs? Or we're going to choose. So okay. Anyway, yeah. Let me know if you want to continue with this job search. It's interesting. So we found 41 jobs for Angular, and you notice there are not a lot of Angular, but all web stuff in Miami, Florida. But let's go React developer in Miami. So React, 151 jobs. So you got more jobs. You got 3 times, a little more than 3 times. The pay is about the same, 112, 161, not bad. What else? Remote front-end engineer. BrainStation. WordPress developer. Oh my God. And they're on the low end. You know, what do they want you to know for WordPress? I'm curious about that. Hold on, we'll see what they say here. Give me a second. What does a WordPress developer know? Let's go. Okay. WordPress developer for full-time position. Our office is located in Miami. Design themes with HTML, CSS, SAS, Bootstrap, WordPress. Maintain existing WordPress sites. So it's basically front-end, fluency, WordPress, PHP, frameworks, responsive design, skill work with Java, jQuery, other. So it's mostly PHP stuff, but the pay is low. The pay is low. It's very low for Miami. So I would tell them it'd be a good first job. It's a little low. Full stack backend developer. Let's see what we got here. Our story of one of passion, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what are requirements here? Proficiency in PHP, extensive experience in developing, maintaining dynamic websites, applications using PHP, up to date. See, again, I didn't search for PHP jobs, but we're getting PHP. That's the reality, you know? So it's 120,000 a year. This is a React job. So yes, we're a React developer. They're not giving me pay, not giving me pay. .NET developer, 130 to 150,000. All right, so you get the idea. Well, since we're here, we're going to write in PHP Laravel. Curious if there's any Laravel jobs in Miami. 14 Laravel jobs, very specific, 90,000 a year. They're not giving the pay information. 80 to 110,000 a year, 75 to 85,000 a year, 50 to 60 an hour. So you just double that times 1,000. So 100 to 125,000 a year. So that's PHP Laravel, very specific. So I'm going to say PHP developer. Boom. 40 jobs, so about the same as Angular. So WordPress, low end, backend full stack, 90,000, 100,000, 80,000. Anyway, all right, it's enough. You get the idea? I hope that helped. Let me know. We'll see what other questions do we have. How are we doing for time? Okay, not bad. Moving along. Sir, how to know what kind of work is in demand for freelance web development? Well, for freelance, it's going to be web, so HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, backend, PHP, WordPress, some Drupal. That's a lot of the freelance for web development. You're not going to see, for freelance web development, you're not going to see too much React. You may see React contract work, which is different from freelance. But there you go. But you can just start searching this stuff. As a beginner, a total noob, is there anything needed in course besides a willingness to learn? Do each day. You should go watch my videos on this channel on how to learn to code. I have a bunch of videos where I outline that out. Yeah, but yeah, do a little bit every day. Write code every day, even if you don't understand the code. Write the code. Very important that you write the code. I'm working as a full-time React developer. I learned Express with Node before. Now I want to study Laravel and restudy Express in Node again. What do you think? Well, if it's interesting to you, then do it out of interest. That's cool. What are your medium-term goals in that regard, in terms of work and so on? And that will impact what it is you choose to do. I hope that makes sense. What technology should I use for a web page having lots of videos and client wants fast loading and playing a video? I would just use video embeds from YouTube or video embeds from Vimeo or some other hosting company, video hosting. It's all about the video hosting. The speed there is all about the video hosting. So it's not so much about the code. So I would use either YouTube, if they don't mind using YouTube. I would use Vimeo. I use Vimeo. And there are other video streaming platforms. So look up video streaming platforms and look at the cost. YouTube is free, but you got its limitations. Vimeo is not free, but you can get like a pretty good program for 20 bucks a month, and it's pretty good. The way it works, you upload your video to the platform, whether it be YouTube or Vimeo or whatever. And then it will give you embed codes, and you just drop it in, boom, away you go. Not very difficult. I want to start getting back-end tasks at my company. We'll find out what the company uses. What does your company do for back-end? What technologies they use? Learn them. Yeah. Do you teach the computer science concepts or just things we need to get started? I teach a lot of the concepts that you need to be a pro web developer. So it's all integrated within the context of my courses. So even with the beginner's HTML course, the foundations HTML course, you're going to learn about HTML, but you're going to learn what a markup language is. You're going to learn about the request response cycle. You're going to learn about the stateless nature of the internet and the web. In the PHP course, you're going to learn server-side development, the difference between client-side and server-side rendering. So you learn a lot of concepts that are important. You learn about memory allocation, what exactly happens when you're creating a variable, what's going on right down on the machine level. Concepts that I know that are required to make your life easier as a developer, that's all taught in there. It's a good question. How was your visit in the States? Not bad. So far, so good. I drove down here from Montreal, Canada, and we visited a few places, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Savannah. Nice city, beautiful city, Savannah, Georgia. And then we went to, then we hit Florida. We're in St. Augustine. I drove down with an old buddy of mine from high school. Guy I went to high school with. So we've known each other like 8,000 years. It's unbelievable. Donald Trump, tremendous stakes. I have to say, no matter what your politics are, forget the politics. When that guy pulled out his stakes in 2016, and it was actually just steaks from Costco, it was the funniest thing. Are you on the 16 or 14-inch MacBook Pro? I'm actually on the 14-inch MacBook Air M1. I prefer the Air to the Pros because they're just thinner and lighter. Computers are so fast these days. You don't even need the Pro. Most people don't need the Pro. Unless you want to power more than one monitor and a few other things, you don't need the Pro. But I just like the Air. So I have this 20, it's like a 2020 Air. It looks very good. Pretty good. I learned React.js. Is it easy to switch to React Native? I haven't looked at it, but it shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, with Angular job, it's going to be bundled with Java C#. Yeah, exactly. So Angular is enterprise level. When you get into the enterprise, that means big. Java C# is enterprise, meaning big companies, big projects typically. So that is the more relevant aspect of it. Whether you go React or you go to Vue versus Angular, the technologies themselves are not the major issue. It's where you're going to find yourself working. Vue, you probably see in a lot more small and medium-sized companies. Angular, you're going to see Java C#, which means big companies, typically enterprise-level stuff, typically. Snoopy Poke. Hey, Steph, do you recommend using AI to review, learn concepts, and find answers fast? Should I be learning prompts? Yes, 100%. I look at AI the way I looked at web development back in the early 90s when it first hit the scene. You gotta understand, prior to 94, development was purely thick client. You know, you would write programs that either run on Mac, run on Linux, I don't know if Linux was out then, or run on Windows. You know, so if you're doing Windows, if you're doing application development for a small business, you were writing VB apps, VB5, VB6. And so the web was a big revolution, much bigger than the AI revolution in terms of development. And so those who adopted that did well. Can you hear me now? Oh, that's bad. Very professional. Oh no, oh no. That sucks. All right, can you hear me now? The battery went out on my thing. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Technical difficulties. Yeah, this damn mic. All right, yo, yo, yo. All right, good, good, good. Okay, so in the comments, when did I cut off? Oh no. That's what happens. I'll tell you something. The difference between professional equipment and semi-pro, this stuff here is semi-pro. I didn't bring my pro stuff. Is the professional equipment is very fault tolerant. Okay. Yeah, I'm using the mic on the I will rewind my questions before beverage. Okay, ask your questions again, and I would jump into it. Give me a second here. Oh, all right. Boom. Get the questions lined up, and we'll get that going. Give me a second. Hold on. We are experiencing technical difficulties. What are you going to do? Yeah, I'm using the MacBook mic. Unfortunately, I have to charge these little things here. They are losing their power. Yeah, I didn't charge them long enough. Hold on, where's that damn thing? Always professional. Always professional. All right, let's all good now. Before the beverage, MacBook mic. Yes. Do you have children, Steph? I might. Do you have any tried and true strategies to stay disciplined, focused, and keep your day structured as a freelancer? Ah, yes. That's one of the biggest challenges when you're a freelancer is, do you have that discipline? I do have the discipline. I've been doing these type of things. I've been self-employed or had businesses all my life, so you have to have your own discipline. Yeah, I would just have tasks, like one or two tasks I have to get done for the day to move projects forward. You may want to do the ultimate mind training with my Lizard Wizard course below. People who do it tell me it transforms their life. Yeah. If you want that, check it out. That will help you understand how your brain works, and will help you develop discipline very quickly. Is programming dead? Not even close, man. I'm my first year in computer science. Should I change? I'm not smart, to be honest. Don't tell me to study machine learning, etc. Yeah, no, it's not dead. Don't worry about it, man. If just don't go into student loan debt. Start writing code every day. Programming is far from dead. There's a bazillion jobs. Sorry about the whole sound thing. Guys who stuck through it all, I appreciate your patience. I give you guys a thumbs up for being patient with me on that one. Jesus Christ. Let me check the comments here. Yeah, thanks, guys. Whoever put the paid chat there to get my attention, I appreciate that. Hey, Steph, how much backend do you need to learn to do freelance to make decent money? I think no audio from here. Okay. Yeah, if you're doing freelance, what you're going to find, freelance means you're going to be working for small companies, which means you're going to be doing mostly web stuff. And you're going to see a lot of WordPress, a lot of e-commerce, some Drupal, PHP. You're going to see a lot of that because that's just that's what small business tends to use. You might see some Node a little bit. You might see the occasional Python, but it's really about the web. So HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, a little bit of JavaScript. It's not going to be like a lot of React jobs. Freelancing. There's a distinction between freelance and contract work. When you're doing contract work, you're basically an employee who's on a short-term contract. Contract work means you don't get benefits and all that kind of stuff, but the pay should be significantly higher than being a full-time employee. That's a trade-off. Whereas freelance, you don't work for a company. You're not on contract. You are your own independent business in the sense that you set your hours, you decide what you're going to do. Of course, the client has to agree to it all, but it's much more independent as a freelancer. So there's that distinction between contractor and freelancer. I should do a full video on that. I hope that makes sense. Jazz music was playing low vibe. Okay, at least you had the jazz music. Dab on that. We did a programming dev. We did a bad Wi-Fi. No, the batteries in my my microphones went dead. See, the difference, what you're going to find as technology evolves, and this is universal, but I have seen in my career, the difference between the pro technology and the semi-pro is that you have more redundancies and fail-safes in the pro technology, and you pay a premium for that. So for example, these mics, they sound pretty good relative to the pro mics, but the pro mics, you won't have situations where your power runs out, you know? So, yeah, there you go. The frame on your wall, did you take the pic yourself or bought it that way? No, that was here. So I'm down in Delray Beach, Florida to, amongst other things, to explore living down here. So I rented this unit. I'm right near the beach, so it's pretty equivalent to my place, but down in Florida. So I'm just renting for now to see whether or not I like it here. So everything here came with. Like I would not have this couch. I would have a leather couch. But they got a nice 77-inch flat screen TV. They got, definitely a luxury place. But yeah, I wouldn't. I do things differently here. La programmation demeure tout couperet ne va pas mourir. What does that mean? Hey, Steph, how much backend do you need to learn to do freelance and make decent money? I think I did that one. The Mac mic is not bad at all. No, it's not bad. It's not bad. See, the key with mics is proximity. See, from back here, you can hear the sound difference, the sound quality difference. But if I went up to the mic like this, you see, the proximity is everything with mics, how close they are. So that's why when you see the live shows, they have the mics right close, whether it be a big pro mic or not. Glad to hear it. Yeah, we are. Where does the freelance work come from? It comes from small business. First thing you got to do is you got to put up a website. What's the main language yours daily? None right now. I run things. I've written professional code in 9 languages over the years, so it depends on the job. And what are you drinking? I'm drinking tea, unfortunately. I've had too many coffees today, so I had to take a break on the coffees. I guess that's why I was losing people. What's the going rate for entry-level freelance? Depends on where you are in the world. The pay in New York City would be very different from, I don't know, from some small town in Ohio. It'd be very different from some small town in Pakistan or some place in Japan. So you have to look at the local market. It's always about the local market. Can you explain stateless again? Oh, I guess I was doing stateless. So when something is stateless, it means it is without state. Think of state of being. Think of real estate. It's basically having what's the word? How should I say it? So I'll just explain it in concepts in terms of programming. So the web itself, the internet, websites, the web apps, they are by nature stateless. So what happens when somebody clicks on a link on a web page, it sends a message to the server. So you have the server sitting there, and the server software is sitting there waiting for messages to come in from web browsers. And the typical message is, send me this web page. So you click on a link, that sends a message over the internet, and it goes to that server. The server says, oh, this guy over here, or this girl over here wants to see this page, so the server sends the page. Once the page is sent to you, the connection between your web browser and that server is broken. So the server has no idea whether or not where you are. There's no, it doesn't know. So that's the stateless nature of the web. So that was the challenge initially, in terms of development, to track people. The classic example is the shopping cart. So somebody comes to a site, Amazon, and you add to cart. Now, the server does not know what's in your cart, right? There's no constant connection there. So how does the server know who you are versus something called session? So it's a tool where they tag your browser with a little cookie, a little text file, so they know who you are, and they can track. So when you make another connection, you add something else to the card, sends a message to the server. Server looks for that cookie to identify you, that little text string that identifies you. And they said, oh, this guy, he's bought another item. Okay, let's put it in his cart. So stateless nature means is that once the page loads, the server doesn't know who you are, and so the web is stateless. It's as if your memory gets wiped out every 2 minutes. I don't know if that makes sense. That's not the best explanation, but that's the best I can do tonight. Do you think being able to write code in different programming languages is a skill one should have into account? You'll get it naturally. Once you learn one programming language, the others become very easy. So the hardest programming language to learn is the first, and then the rest become very easy. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. It's very common that experienced developers will learn new languages on the fly. I've done it many times. How many years have you been involved in freelance web development? If you were to start a small development agency, how would you go about it? Well, I started writing commercial code in 1994, 95, I forget exactly, for my own site. And it was for a business that had nothing to do with technology, but I wanted a website for marketing purposes. And the web, everything was super new. I had one of the very first sites ever, period. Maybe one of the first 4,000 sites. I was in one of the first 4,000 or 5,000 sites on the web. That includes all the university sites. When I put out my first website, most of the web was text only. I had one of the first sites with images. I had one of the first sites with certainly color images. Back in those days, if you can put up a nice photo of a colorful fish on the web, you were like a master. I started freelancing, I guess in 95, I did my first contract for a law firm. Yeah, I did my first contract for a law firm in 95 as a side job for fun. And then I sold out of my business, and then I went full-time freelance in 96. So if I were to start a small development agency, how would you go about it? Oh, I would have to do a whole video on that. The key to agency effectiveness is workflows, developing highly optimized workflows. Watch a few of my videos where I talk about that very recently. Hey, Alex, how are you, man? Cheers. Yeah. Thanks for joining the stream. True, I am where I am today because of Stefan's YouTube support. I needed the structure and enrolled in a web dev computer school. Not easy at all, but I am trudging along. Very good. If you move to Florida, I want a Steph web dev meetup. Oh yeah, if you guys are in Florida, sometime in January, if we can get 5-10 people together, we'll do a meetup in Florida. Go to coffee or dinner or whatever. we'll figure that out. So keep that in mind. Watch the live streams, the Discord, whatever, in the comments. You see that. Why does everyone want to jump to freelance immediately? Why not? You can if you want. You don't have to. You don't need to have a job first to do freelance. Myth. That's a myth. You just need to be able to show that you can do work. So you can start off freelancing to learn. But being a freelancer has to do with choice. It's a different lifestyle altogether. You have to have personal discipline. You have to be comfortable working alone. But there's also a huge amount of advantages freelancing. I was saying programming is not going to die. I was saying programming is not going to die. No, it's not at all. Can you suggest some tools for small web dev company for collaborating better internally as well as with clients? Well, Slack is very common for internal. You may want to look at Wix Studio. It's not the same as Wix. Wix Studio is a platform that Wix put out. I just did a couple of marketing videos for them. And Wix Studio is built for freelancers and agencies. It's very cool. So it's got the WYSIWYG, but it's also got code capabilities. It's got AI built in for headline creation and body text creation. It's got AI for image creation, all integrated. And it also has the ability for you to create user profiles. So you can send out a link to your client and they can log on, look at what you're building for them, and they can leave comments. It's like dropping stickies, kind of like dropping sticky notes in their platforms. Very cool. You can even build them through the platform and all kinds of different things. You may want to look at Wix Studio. You go back a couple of videos, I talk about it here. PHP sessions, yeah, exactly. Sessions, all the web languages, PHP, Java with JSPs, and Python, Django, they all have session state. A session is like, a session would be going to a website and buying products. That's a session. So to solve the stateless nature of the web, the fact that once the web page is sent to you, the communication between the web browser and the server are cut off. That makes it stateless, right? The server doesn't know if you're still there or not. You're disconnected. That's why it's so efficient, by the way, because they cut the connection right away after the information is sent to you. So all the server-side programming languages have created something called session, this ability for you to tag people automatically to track what they're doing if they've added things to the cart, as an example. We used to do it manually. We could also do it on the client side as well with JavaScript, with hidden forms. That's the old school way of doing it. So now with session, they have something called a session object. Basically, it's a basket where you can track information and tag somebody's web browser. So you can collect information about a user on the server, and you tag that user using a little text file called a cookie that resides in the web browser. If this is too complex for you, just go do a web stack course. You learn about this stuff. You won't learn how to write clean, easy to maintain scalable code if you just jump into freelance too soon, I think. No, you can learn that. You could do it by just getting good courses on it, getting that refactoring book as well. Yeah, if you go work for somebody, Alex, you could, obviously, if you have mentors at the company, you'll learn quickly. You could potentially learn far more quickly. There's no question about that. All right. If you had a small business and wanted to hire a web developer to build out an app for you, where would you first look? Ooh. Personally, I learned from hard lessons. I look for local talent. So I would search out web developer. I go to Google's web developer in wherever I happen to be. Web developer in Delray Beach, web developer in Florida, web developer South Florida, web developer in Lauderdale. And I would take it from there. Remote is cool, but the big problem with remote is that communications can be an issue. But I know people who have done it successfully. May want to go to Upwork, other platforms. You can find people there. The hardest programming language you will learn is your first one, and C. Yeah, I wouldn't learn C or C++ or Java or C# as the first programming language. Why? Because there's a lot to learn. I would learn a very lightweight language like JavaScript or Python. Those would be my first two choices. I'm with Anthony Grunch, Florida meetup for Stefan followers. Yeah. Theos, let's do that. Let's, is it Grunch or Gunsk? I don't know his name. I'm not saying that right. So. Yeah, we'll do a meetup for sure, and somewhere in January. Yeah. We'll keep in touch. We'll start organizing it over the next few weeks. What would you do to make a mobile application known by people? Ads? Well, if you have a mobile application, you get your alpha out, and I would promote it in Facebook, Twitter. I would do social first just to get, you just need like a handful of users to test it out to see if it's got any legs, if it's any good. Once you get past a handful of users, you got that proof of concept. You know, okay, people like it. Could be something. Then you can start looking at maybe ads. That's how I would approach it. I'm in Florida. I can do dinner on Mondays and Wednesdays, lunch on Fridays. All right, cool. So we'll keep in touch. We'll figure it out. I don't know what my schedule is going to be like in January, so we'll see how that goes. I guess moving into freelance would be easier if, like myself, you were in your 40s and want to make the switch into web development from non-IT role. Age, not a huge issue. You'll get a little bit more respect if you're in your mid to late 20s versus 18 perhaps. But at the end of the day, I say that with a grain of salt, because if you're good, you're good. You can demonstrate your skills. You're a positive guy and I appreciate that, but what's your worst story involving coding? Any disasters over the years? Any disasters over the years? Yeah, the biggest disaster I had was with my learning SaaS, my Studioweb learning SaaS, the old version. We did a rewrite a few years back. And what happened was, when you have a mature application, you get new developers involved in it. So what happened with the Studioweb platform is we had tons and tons of, every morning, a lot of schools, right, are using it. And so we had a lot of schools using it, and come 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m., all of these students would jump on. So you have tons of people jumping on at the same time. And so you have this big load, the spike load. So what would happen at one point, it was getting, the load was, there was too many users. I had too many concurrent users. So a lot of things can cause that. It could be bandwidth issues. It could be overall server resources. It could be all kinds of different things. Anyway, and we had tons of hosting. We had VPS. We had it on a VPS. So I was pushing massive amounts of RAM and CPU on it. It was costing me thousands a month, and it was still tanking. I would get these pissed off calls from teachers and emails. The system's not working. It's so slow. So there was a fundamental scaling problem with the application. So that was a huge headache. Strangely enough, the solution was quite simple. One of the developers involved didn't do something fundamental. They didn't index one of the tables properly. So I remember I was having the problem again and again. It was a huge problem. We were doing rewrites and all kinds of complex caching and so on. And it was helping a little bit, but it was really problematic. It was a nightmare because I was like, oh no, we're going to have a problem this morning. We're going to get. Anyway, it was very bad. It was really bad. Anyway, long story short, I figured out the problem. Some guy made a stupid mistake and didn't index the tables properly. So I had to go in there, dust off my nerd hat and my nerd keyboard fingers. I went in there and I did some study, and it took me about half an hour to figure it out. Once I figured out what the problem was, I was like, what? He didn't index the table. So literally the fix was 1 minute. And all of a sudden, all the problems disappeared like this. It was just a config issue, really. Anyway, long story. So that was a nightmare to me because I was always afraid the teacher's reactions in the morning. Hey, Mr. Stefan, do you have like top 5 of books you would recommend? Yeah, I do. I'll do it in another video, but there's some links below. The refactoring books is very cool. If you want to learn the Naked Ape is a very important book I talk about all the time. I don't have it here, but the links below. The links below for the books. I should update them. Hey, how are you doing? Do you draw up a contract when clients hire you for a project stating that what will be included and what won't, and what happens if they don't upload assets on time and make payments on time? Oh yeah, you should. So you're in the mentoring program, so go check out the course on freelancing. It's going to answer all those questions. Short answer, yes. When you first deal with a client, it's very important that you have a nice, simple contract so that you lay out how the relationship is going to work between you and the client. This will avoid a lot of problems. What will determine whether or not you're successful in your freelance career is how you establish the relationship right at the very onset of any project with a new client, with any client. So it's very important that you got that contract down so everybody knows what to expect. Good question. But go, you can do whatever, if you're still learning HTML and CSS and JavaScript, go just do the freelance. And in the next coaching session, if you have any questions about all that, I'll be able to put more time into it. So yeah. What's the biggest pain in owning rentals, tenants, management, or contractors? Contractors fill me with dread. Well, yeah, everything. You can get one bad tenant to cause huge headaches, or you can have, like, with my properties down in Texas, I had properties down in San Antonio. We sold them all. It was too much of a headache. I didn't like it. And yeah, it was just like things would break and you have to get quotes and things, or you could have the dreaded terrible tenant. So yeah, owning real estate is not passive by any means. If you're going to own real estate, you have to, in my opinion, to make it worthwhile, really, you have to have at least 10 apartments to rent, at least. So you have that economy of scale, as they call it. If you're just managing one or two doors, you have to manage it yourself. But if you have 10 or 20 units or 50 units, you got to hire a manager, you got a company. So ironically, having many more units allows you to have less headaches. And it also diversifies your risk. So real estate is, you have to like it. What's the one piece of advice you would give your younger self about learning programming or career in general? I've talked about this I've talked about this quite a bit. You want to do a little bit every day. You want to get into meditation. You want to develop your FU stash so you have a sense of financial independence. You want to start investing and saving as soon as possible. You want to discipline yourself it's not even discipline. You want to change your psychology so you don't want to buy stuff. You want to invest. Why? Because when you find yourself with years and years of cash on hand, meaning you don't have to worry about making money for many years, life's a lot simpler. What tech one should know to build something like WordPress, Wix, or Shopify? Well, they're different technologies. Just learn the basics of the web, HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. If you decide to concentrate on WordPress, you learn a little PHP. So the big three frameworks, Angular, Vue, React, do you not think these are good for freelance? Vue will probably be your best choice for freelance if you need it. Yeah. Exactly. Niera. You're going to have to tell me in the next live coaching session if I said that right. Niera. I don't know if I did. My apologies if I got it wrong. You have used the phrase proof of concept a few times. Is this something that establishes the software concept as your intellectual property. No, it establishes that your concept for a business idea or a software idea actually has merit, meaning there's interest in it. You could build a piece of software that you think is great, but then when you get it out there in front of users, real users, they may go, man, I'm not really interested in this. So proof of concept is when you develop a piece of software or a business model and you've actually deployed it to the market and you've seen that people actually find value in it. That's proof of concept. Does that make sense? Cool, cool. Hello, hey Thomas, how are you? It's going to be a long stream. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up soon because Uncle Steph's getting tired. Stefan, do you think that having all the full stack certifications on my portfolio will help me to land a job? I'm currently taking Bootstrap and will be taking Angular as well. Short answer is, even though I have a certification platform, I built it because a bunch of school districts wanted to certify their students, and people, you can get my certifications. They help a little bit, but they're going to look at what you've done. A prospective employer will go, okay, you got certification, but what can you do? What have you built? So certifications is just minor importance. I wouldn't be chasing certificates. I'd be chasing experience. This is 100,000% even more true when you're freelancing. When you're freelancing, nobody cares about your certificates. All they want to see is what have you done? What kind of work have you done? Go watch all other videos where I talk about that. Nea like I era. Niera like era, this era. Okay, Niera. Niera? Niera? I guess what it is. Niera, that's what it is. Give me a thumbs up. Can software be patented? I don't know if it could be patented or it can be copyrighted, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if it falls under copyright or patent. Yeah. You can't copyright a process. You can't patent a process. They can't copy your code, right? It's like, anyway, you can hide the source code from people. Naira, okay, cool name. Where does that name come from? What part of the world is that? What is that? Eastern European, maybe? I don't know. Let me know. I'm curious. All right, so pretty good small group. So just so you know, a year ago, more than a year ago, I used to do live streams all the time, and I would get 250, 300 concurrent people watching. So consistency is a universal concept. Whether you're streaming or learning to code or building a business, etc., or saving, investing, consistency is one of those universal concepts that are very useful. Egyptians, Egyptian Lebanese, very cool. I like your name, nice. All right, what kind of services do you provide to schools? So I have a platform called Studioweb, studioweb.com. So it is a learning software as a service, a learning SaaS. So on the front end, what students see, like you can buy courses that I host on that platform. It's my platform. And it's an interactive training platform. So it's videos, and you submit answers to questions and quizzes. It evaluates your code. It gives you instant help. It tracks your progress. It grades you. It tells you when you came on, when you logged on last, how long you've been, how much time you studied on a particular course. It does all these things. This is what you see as a student. Teachers and administration have a lot of other tools that you don't see. So the system has all kinds of classroom management tools, all kinds of district statistics tools. It's pretty powerful. So schools will license the software and the curriculum from me, and they'll teach their students how to code with it, and then they'll track the grades and manage the students and so on. So that's the platform. Yeah, no problem. Have you flirted around with Go or Rust, the newborns on the block? No, I've looked at it. People who do Rust programming really like it, but apparently it's very hard to learn. I just looked at it briefly. Go, very specialized. I looked at it briefly. In terms of languages, let the jobs determine what you want to do, what you do. Let the jobs determine that, Is Kotlin still a good language to learn Android dev? Yeah, if you're going to do Android development native, you want to learn Kotlin. That's the preferred language even by Google for years now. It's so much faster, lighter, nimbler than Java. And I love Java. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. We've been on here quite a while, an hour and a half. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. And yeah, if you have any questions or you have any comments about the stream, I invite you to comment below. So let's check out the Discord. So if you there's links below to the Discord. As one person joined, so you may want to take a look at that. Here's a Discord channel. Yeah, so there's a lot of activity here. You got all my videos or profiles, announcements, you got polls, you got lots of discussions, lounge. You can meet a lot of other developers. So you can see it's a pretty active Discord. You can join for free, book discussions, motivations. Ghost Ninja is pretty cool. He's one of the mods. Yeah, so everything is in there. Good community. I invite you to join. It's I'll be on more often now, but I'm feeling pretty good now. So yeah, I invite you to join Discord. So we had a few people join. So yeah, check it out. Discord channel below. All right, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. I'll leave you with my ASMR video of Maine, and yeah, I think we'll talk soon. Cheers, guys.